Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-host is, as always, the DJ. How are you going, DJ?
I'm going good. What a lovely week it has been.
It's been a bit warm.
Yeah.
Got up to like 25 the other day. I'm not liking it.
Springtime. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, the pollen.
I wonder how many hay fever cases are going to be mistaken as COVID cases.
I hope none.
We're going to see a lot of tissue papers going out the door, and a lot of hay fever meds.
Yes, you'll have to report back to us in 2 weeks from your position as checkout chick.
Gee, thanks for revealing my secret identity.
You could be at Woolies. You could be at Coles. You could be at Aldi. You could be any one of us.
See, that makes it even more like apparent.
Well, I'm open about being an IT guy, and do you think there's more IT guys than checkout chicks?
I'm thinking maybe not, but I could be dead wrong on that one.
Alright, well, starting off with our science topic this week, what do you do with your orange peels, DJ?
I threw it out to the yard as a compost.
Not bad. I mean, if I had compost, I'd do that, but I don't. But here's a new technique. You can use orange peel to recycle lithium-ion batteries.
Oh.
So the exact same kind of battery that you find in your e-scooters or your electric cars, once they're degraded, they're pretty useless. But you take them, break them down into black mass, and add orange peel, which creates a solution that can then be converted back into fresh batteries.
So in other words, this thing could help solve a lot of acid problems when it comes to leaking batteries.
I don't think that's as much of an issue with lithium ions. I'm not even sure lithium ions have an acid in them. I know they have fire in them. You ever tried to open one up?
No, I don't want to think about that prospect.
Yeah. Actually, there's a video on Big Clive's YouTube channel where he opens up a battery and it catches fire, as expected.
Hang on a second. So it's a rechargeable battery. Chemistry performance. So it's lithium polymer batteries. Don't think they say anything about acids, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, acid is mostly an older style battery, a
Yeah.
single-use alkaline. Actually, an alkaline battery is saying acid for a standard like AA alkaline incorrect?
Probably
Because like car batteries are lead acid, but the my other batteries are like alkaline. So do they actually contain an acid, or is it that they're mostly alkaline?
I'm looking at the chemistry side of things. Primary zinc carbon, which are dry cell AA batteries, have 400 to 900 milliampere hours capacity. There are multiple chemistries: nickel, cadmium, nickel metal hydrate, and lithium ion.
Most modern rechargeables are either a lithium chemistry or a nickel metal hydride, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the nickel metal hydrides.
Which I made a mistake. The Big Clive video isn't for a lithium battery. He dissects some nickel metal hydrides.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure why lithium batteries don't come in AAA format or AA format. The most common is an 18650, which is quite a bit bigger, and that's standard in laptop batteries. So there's literally tons of these, and
Wait, did you just say about the AA lithium batteries?
yeah.
Yeah, there are AA lithium batteries.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mistake then.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they just seem to most commonly come in 18650, which is actually an abbreviation for the dimensions of the battery.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can use the orange peel to recycle these, which is nuts. And they reckon they can get up to 99% leaching efficiency of nickel, magnesium, cobalt, and lithium from the black mass.
Can you imagine this being a survivor skill hack? Just like in case your torch batteries are dying, use an orange peel.
Well, I don't think you're going to have the industrial equipment to crush your battery, mix it with the orange peel, separate out the constituent elements, and then reform a new battery. But look, if you want to try that, be my guest. So this is environmentally safe as well. The remnants of the process have negligible cytotoxicity.
So in other words, they're not harmful to natural objects.
Yeah, not harmful to human life at least.
Yeah. There must be some downsides to this though. I mean, like even though like this thing is a good idea, there has to be like a catch to this though. I mean,
Yes, what is the catch? I can't figure it out because looking at the bits of the paper that I can see here, which I realize now is only like 5 of the pages. Does it have the entire paper? It looks like it does. No, you need to log in and everything. Okay. But
paywall.
yeah,
Paywall.
it's pretty standard. But these new batteries come out with comparable performance to commercial. Uh, they call them LCO, so lithium, cobalt, oxygen. Standard lithium batteries contain a small amount of cobalt, which is the tricky one to get. So lithium's fairly common and easy to mine compared to cobalt. And there's a lot of concern about child slaves working in cobalt mines in Africa.
Yeah.
So cutting, African warlords out of the picture, I'm all for that. Coney 2012.
Boy, that fizzled out so badly though.
Yeah, hopefully this time this will make a difference.
Yeah, fat chance that will ever happen.
Yeah, so I guess the tricky part is growing enough oranges. I don't know what else you use oranges for, apart like I think you could probably process the skin to get pectin, I think,
Yeah.
because marmalades and jams are made with the peel.
Yeah. I found something interesting. So, in the lab experiments, the team found that their approach successfully extracted around 90% of cobalt, lithium, nickel, and manganese from spent lithium ion batteries. So, it's a comparable efficacy to the approach using hydrogen peroxide. And one of the scientists explained that the key lies in the cellulose found in orange peels, which is converted into sugars under heat during the extraction process. These
Okay,
sugar oh, sorry,
so it's sugar. Could we then mix this with a bunch of sugarcane and make batteries out of sugarcane and old batteries?
I think it depends on, like, the chemical structure of sugarcane. Like, chemical structure of sugarcane would be totally different to a chemical structure of orange peel. I mean,
Yeah, sugarcane is sucrose, so it would depend on whether the orange peel. What did they say it was made? Cellulose,
yeah.
which they said converts into other sugars. So I'm not up on my sugar chemistry enough uh, to really say with any certainty there.
Yeah, they're also saying that these sugars enhance the recovery of the metals from battery waste. Naturally occurring antioxidants found in orange peel, such as flavonoids and phenolic acids, can have contributed to this enhancement as well.
Cool. So it's
Uh,
not just the orange peel, like the cellulose, the sugar. It's also the antioxidants. They're not just good for stopping cancer.
Here's the orange juice, the solution to life's problems. Move over,
Apparently so.
alcohol. So, what else are
Look,
they?
DJ, do you have a problem? Do we need to talk? I'm here for you, man.
Yes, let's go to the nearest boost bar.
Help! I'm addicted to oranges. You remember that meme from like 10 years ago now of the guy holding the limes? And he's like, why can't I hold all these limes?
Vaguely, but I think I do. Oh, that's gonna be funny as well. Like, imagine the other imagine the besides orange juice, it'd be like, what if we try lime? What if we try
Well, it's the
star fruit?
peel, but that does make sense. Other citrus fruits probably have a similar composition.
Yeah. They're saying this is the most efficient way, practically feasible for recycling spent lithium-ion batteries in the industrial sense. That's going to be interesting, though. If imagine you do this in an industrial level, like how many orange peels are they going to get? Like,
Yeah, that's the other problem. Can you juice the oranges and then just dump the peels into the recycling process?
it will also. The other interesting thing is if they market this right, this will be a very good marketing tool to help like kids recycle the fruits and stuff. You know, it'll be the environmental movement will have a lot of like emphasis on this.
Yeah.
But the
So,
other,
what else is in our compost bins? Like,
ooh,
we can use oranges to recycle batteries.
yeah.
Can we like use I don't know, apple cores to power rockets?
Oh, the irony of that question would be pretty hilarious. It'd be like Apple now powering rockets to space.
Yes. Though the the Crew Dragon capsule runs on Linux, not Apple, so sorry, Steve. I think they might have even used Android for some of the functions. Like the way they do it, as I understand it, is there are control panels around the main television with all the critical stuff. But and that's a direct like hardware interrupt. But the television runs Android or just more regular Linux, and then they can run everything from there, falling back to the controls if they need to,
Yeah.
since the whole ship is basically computer controlled anyway.
Hmm. Here's an interesting quote from this project. They said, here's an interesting quote for you. This waste to resource approach could also potentially be extended to other types of cellulose-rich fruit and vegetable waste, as well as lithium-ion battery types such as lithium iron phosphate and lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide. This would help to great strides towards the new circular economy of e-waste and power our lives in a greener and more sustainable manner.
Cool. I
What's going to be interesting is, could you see this as a substitute for fuel, like your general car fuel? Like imagine orange peel powering up your Tesla.
I don't think you understand exactly how it works. So the orange peel doesn't create the power.
No,
The
it
orange
doesn't.
peel is the chemical process by which you break down an old battery into the base elements so you can make a new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a Tesla already runs on these lithium ion 18650s, but the when your Tesla is, you know, 10 years old and the battery life has dropped and it's not feasible, you then take the batteries out, mix them up with the orange peels, and make a new battery bank for a new Tesla or whatever other model of car we're driving in 15
Mm.
years. Because I hope we get more electric cars.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is like with this revelation, this could also decrease the whole metal scarcity situation as well. Like, you know, we always get the whole questions of like, oh, metals are very scarce at the moment. We have
Yeah,
to try and save it. This
yeah,
could
absolutely.
this could solve the problem.
Well, not solve, but definitely relieve it.
Yeah. And
So take some of the yeah, relieve your new mineral stream by phasing in some of your recycling stream. And then you don't need to dig as many mines. You can build more battery packs with the amount that you would get out of a mine because you can reuse the old battery packs, which in turn means that you don't need to build as many mines and cause as much environmental degradation. Hopefully, anyway, that's the
yeah,
theory.
even
It'll
with
be interesting to see how this, because I reckon orange peel is probably cheap. How
yeah.
is this going to add up to a compared to mining all of your brand new lithium and cobalt and everything? how does that compare to making a battery out of the black mass?
Yeah. And what's even more crazier is how when they recycling stuff is always an energy it's always an energy expensive?
Not always. Aluminium is actually cheaper to recycle than it is to make new aluminium.
Yeah.
The difficulty is in getting the waste stream into the recycling plant.
Yeah. Cuz there's
So if you don't sort your recycling, your aluminium just goes to the dump. If
yeah,
you um, if you live out in the bush and you burn your rubbish, that's not getting recycled.
yeah. Cuz it's
So you,
interesting.
yeah,
Oh,
you got to make sure you sort your aluminium out, or you lose that benefit.
yeah. Because I was reading further into this part, they're saying that the current industrial recycling process of e-waste is very intensive and emits harmful pollutants and waste
Yeah,
to the point where
actually, technically, glass is the most recyclable um, kind of bottle because you can take a glass bottle, wash it out with boiling water, and reuse it straight away.
hmm,
The issue is it's infeasible, if not impossible, to reuse broken glass,
oh yeah.
and you can't. Well, you got to ship all the extra weight.
Yeah. And also as I was saying about the whole energy expensive, here's how the spent batteries are conventionally treated. They are treated with extreme heat to smelt valuable metals, which emits harmful gases, and alternative approaches that use strong acid solutions or weak acid solutions with hydrogen peroxide to extract the metals are being explored, but they produce the secondary pollutants that pose health and safety risks.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. Like this opens up a new this could well I could be singing praises here, but this could like not really revolutionize the recycling industry.
Yeah, I
But
hope so. Especially e-waste, because e-waste is nasty and we've been dumping it on poor countries for years.
yeah, yeah.
But for a bit of a story about how science can go wrong, what's your topic, DJ?
So Netflix have decided to come out saying that they're gonna make a Resident Evil series.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
so
does that go in Resident Evil? Is it science going wrong, or did they deliberately make the zombies?
I think well, if you're looking at it from the game perspective, I think it is it's deliberate. But hang on a second.
Yes, because the games and the movies are separate continuities, aren't they?
Yeah, the games and the movies are separate continuities, but they're based on of each other,
Yeah.
kind of thing, with the elements and stuff. But yeah, the main storyline is basically a group of individuals fight under a corporation. They've developed a T virus that can turn humans into zombies. Basically, that's the
Okay, so science
overall.
gone too far.
Yeah, science gone
So
to
my segue works. Woo.
to a certain degree, yes, to a certain degree. But yeah. So yeah, this came out after after so many stories about Resident Evil coming out, and also a Twitter post saying that oh yes, Resident Evil script is out. So as I put the link up there. And so, yeah, the streaming platform is announcing on August 2020 that the scripted live action was in active development, helmed by Supernatural producer and co-showrunner Andrew Dabb. And one website has leaked a lot of details about the story. And I will say this: live action adaptations of games don't go well. They don't go well.
I'll say this. Detective Pikachu, I rest my case.
Ooh, but Detective Pikachu wasn't really based on a game, though.
Yeah, okay. Sonic. People liked Sonic.
Same thing. Didn't base it. Well, yeah, yeah. You got yeah. I know that's a bit of a. Yeah, it wasn't really part of a game per se, but it is part of the game franchise. But yeah, so the director did say some interesting comments though. He basically said, "So I'm a massive fan of Resident Evil. My first foray into the franchise was RE4, And my favorite game of last year was the RE2 remake. I'm also unbelievably excited about RE3 in a few months. We won't talk about RE6 and Umbrella Corps. So when this script came across my desk, I had to write about it. Netflix making a high budget, a faithful adaptation of the games should make up for the travesty that was the film adaptations. Oh. And he keeps on going saying, well, yes and no. If you're looking for a beat-to-beat translation of the video games into television form, this isn't it. Oh!
Okay, so yeah, he's just going to go and make it inspired by.
Yeah, and it keeps on going by saying, but if you're looking for a substantial original story that takes elements from the video games and makes something with a hell of a lot of promise, maybe this is worth a watch. When it hits the streaming giant soon, this is my overview of the pilot of Netflix's Resident Evil adaptation. One, so like I said, so someone who leaked this out. So the series follows two sisters, or should I say two half sisters, Jade and Billy Wesker. Yes, you fans read this right, Wesker. Both biological daughters of Albert Wesker, both born of different surrogate mothers.
I'm sure
These,
that means something.
yeah, these,
I'll be
these.
honest, I've only ever played Resident Evil 2, so
Have you got the remake yet?
yeah, that was the one I played.
Ah, okay,
The
okay,
remake is pretty damn good for a remake.
yeah.
Like, I usually go into remakes thinking this is going to be a bit shit, but
Mm.
I thought it held up. Like, I don't know if it holds up to the original, but as a standalone, it holds up pretty well.
So, yeah, they explain their births with certainty worth knowing Wesker from the games. I find the origin suspicious, to say the least. I have to say, however, I find them significantly compelling characters to lead a series. Jade is a wisecracking, vulgar girl who is simultaneously charming and annoying to people around her. She seems to make friends rather quickly and is incredibly friendly. Yeah. In direct contrast to her sister, Billy, who is antisocial, shy, she also has a crippling anger management problem. The dynamic between these two is central to the series, balancing both love and hate classic sibling rivalry, and their differing perspectives on their father creates some interesting conflict for the show to explore. Albert himself is an intriguing element to the Resident Evil as well, but I'll get more into that later. So basically,
Okay.
it's like teen angst. It's like, oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna make a teen drama out of this. I'm like,
yeah. Teen
uh,
drama based on a classic horror game. I'm sure that'll be excellent.
so it goes on to say the past timeline takes place in 2022, the year of the outbreak, and follows the Wesker family. They move into new get out Isk out utopian town. The town is ominously renamed Raccoon 2, and
Okay.
they go on to their father, who's Albert Wesker. Albert Wesker, they change. Here's the funny part. Albert Wesker is a one-of-a-kind employee of Umbrella, and is quite different into the show than in the games. His dynamic of ruthless businessman and father trying to do his best but failing is very interesting, and makes his character very engaging. He's in his 60s, an older
I mean,
gentleman.
isn't that the plot of Resident Evil 2? The little girl and the her parents were workers at the Raccoon City facility.
Yeah, but Albert Wesker wasn't the dad though.
No, that was whatever his name was. But like the parents were that. They were the trying to get ahead in their career and their little girl and sounds just like that.
Yeah. He's in his older 60s, an older gentleman. He has a dark past with Umbrella that will be revealed in later episodes. He also strangely extracts his daughter's blood every fortnight for tests, inverted commas. God knows what that means in reality. So, like,
Vampires.
when I read that, I'm going, oh my god, they just changed Albert Wesker's character from like a mega psychotic villain to a sympathetic man.
That happens all the time.
I'm like,
Big
what?
budget shows, they're like, you need to have a sympathetic character.
Yeah, but
And
Albert Wesker though, really? Like Wesker's an evil bastard.
yeah, they don't care.
Like that's the fans love Albert Wesker as a badass. Like they love him for it. Changing this one you just entirely changed the whole story, and you're
Yeah,
just pissing the fans off as a result.
no one really cares though, so
Yeah,
the fans care, but the people who make it don't.
yeah. So, what else did they say? Oh, yeah, and here's another interesting one for you. This isn't the adaptation of Resident Evil you were expecting, but it's very well maybe one you end up loving. I likened it to HBO's brilliant adaptation of Watchmen, albeit not nearly as significantly or thematically rich. It's a
Yeah,
unique.
so I'm hoping it'll just turn out to be a good zombie show. Like, it's
uh,
not going to be a Resident Evil show, really, if they're not doing the characters right, but it'll be a zombie show, and they're kind of a guilty pleasure. I know they're hugely oversaturated, but
but
yeah.
like, if you want to win your here's a problem. If you want your fans to love your work, you have to respect the source material. And what they're doing here, it's just basically, oh, we're just gonna use the source material, but not a lot of it. It's just cherry picking the source material. Cherry
Again,
picking.
they don't care.
Yeah, I
They
know they
they
don't
make
care.
money off this. They don't care about respecting the fans. If they
Yeah,
think they can make more money doing this the other way, they'll do it. And it's entirely possible they will make more money from doing it this way. Maybe they'll get really lucky and they'll make something better than either the games or the movies.
yeah. And to top it all off, this is what the director also says. Um, pe- People might argue that a straight adaptation of Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, or 4 would have been better. But I'm still intrigued by what they have set up with this pilot. Little has been revealed about this project since its initial announcement, so I hope to shed some light on what it will be, or maybe put some of you at ease. So I'm going, ah, really though?
Yeah,
For those who are still fans of it, the director points out we do still see a minor character from the games making a small appearance in the episode, but
it'll be
they
that guy in the background of that one scene.
yeah, but they seem to have altered quite a bit and only resemble the source material ostensibly. Key emphasis on the word ostensibly.
Okay. Well, quit reading the article. Tell us what you really think.
I just think this is just going to be another. It's just going to be another shit show. Like Watchmen, when HBO Watchmen came out, there was a lot of hype for it. Like, yeah, this is going to be Watchmen. They're going to copy. They're going to be. It's going to be another ad. It's going to be another straight beat for beat adaptation. But no, it didn't. It didn't. It was just another. It was just they just slapped on the Watchmen name and
Not
did.
everything has to be a straight adaptation. I mean, the Snowpiercer comics, movie, and television show are all different timelines, and they're all good. Metro, games, books, upcoming movie, all different plots, all been good so far. We haven't seen the movie yet, so you know.
I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that, yeah, sure, okay, anyone can make adaptation, but even if they don't do it beat for beat, if they kept the themes consistent and don't flip around with the characters, then you could win a lot. You could win a lot of people. Like this is just straight up like changing one badass to just, oh, I'm a sympathetic person. I'm feel sorry for me. I'm like, really, really, dude.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my gripe with it, and I know people are gonna call me out on it and say like, "Oh, you're not accepting the big picture, which is money and stuff." But yeah, I'm sorry. I like I like things if they're stuck to this if they're stuck to the source material, and if it doesn't cheese off if it doesn't antagonize the fan base, it's much better. That's my gripe.
All right. Well, something else that's really upset the fans. Destiny 2 is locking away the first 2 years of its content before Season 4 comes out. They've announced that they're going to lock away the first 2 years of content and basically start from scratch with just year 3.
Ah, what?
Yeah, they're calling it vaulting. And the idea is that, although they haven't confirmed it, that they're going to do it, they've said, when we work it out, we'll bring it back. But people have paid for this content. So they
What?
paid for the base game and for the expansions, and now
Oh, that's
that
bull.
content is now being vaulted.
Oh, that is so bull. So we've seen this sort of thing happening in the movie industry. Now it's happening to the gaming industry.
Yep.
Ah,
And they didn't advertise it. Like, I don't play Destiny, but I'm not happy about this because they didn't advertise the game like that. Like, with other games, say Fortnite has monthly events with tie-ins to different shows and movies and whatever,
hmm.
or they bring in a special weapon. You know that's a monthly event. They don't advertise it as anything else. It's just a short-term event. They advertised Destiny as a full game, and now 3 years later, they're taking, you know, 2/3 of the game as it exists now away from you.
See, the whole thing with DLC and stuff. The problem I see it with this is that the DLC stuff when it comes to games, they always have a short lifespan in terms of if you do not activate this DLC within the next 2 years, it goes.
Yeah, and then even if they don't vault the content, they'll shut down the servers eventually. But that's kind of understandable because they, can't afford to run the server forever theoretically.
Yeah.
Uh, and so theoretically, there's no way for them to release the server code. They could, but it would take effort, and no one wants to put that effort in for a 3-year-old game or 1-year-old. Sometimes in EA's case, but they in this case they're just taking the content away from you and leaving the game up so that they can sell you new content.
What's gonna be interesting is I wonder how many people of these DLCs will try and do like sell it to the highest bidder kind of thing.
Oh, when they just have it as a rare item that pops up on the store.
Yeah.
Well, that's already what a lot of games do with cosmetics. Even Fall Guys does it. So it is possible to get all the Fall Guys content um, for free, basically, once you've bought the game.
Mm.
But some items, so some items, mostly costumes, can only be bought by winning rounds. So every time you win a round, you win a whole line of rounds, and you're the champion. You get a crown, which you can spend on a costume, and other things like other costumes are sold for points that you get just for participating. And you can buy the points you get for participating, but you can't buy the crowns. So if they published a rare item that was only going to be there for a week or whatever, and it was going for 1 million participation points, then that would feel like they were taking advantage of people. Whereas if it went for 1 million crowns, it wouldn't because you can't buy a crown. But this, taking away content and promising it'll maybe be back with no plan to actually rotate it or bring it back that they're announced. What's the point? You can buy this content and they will take it away from you and then let you have it back when they feel like it.
Maybe it's just to try and get rid of the miners. Like you know how gamers would just would just do it for just mine for other players.
Yeah, I don't think that will help with this.
Do you reckon this will also this will also be a microtransaction problem as well?
Would not surprise me. I wouldn't surprise me if at some point in the future they launch a store and have microtransaction purchases. I don't know if they have microtransactions at the moment. Let's have a look.
I think if I recall, they do, but I could be
Yes,
wrong.
they do.
Yeah. Do you reckon deleting this content is a way to just emphasize the fact that hey, try our microtransaction shop? You
No, because if you buy something off the microtransaction shop, you're not even guaranteed to still have it in a year. Now that
Mm,
they've made it clear that they will take items that you've spent real world money on away from you and not give it back until they decide that they've figured out how, I wouldn't buy anything off the microtransaction store.
mm. What's
What if
gonna
I
be also
spend $20 on a cool costume and the next day they take it away from me?
yeah. What's gonna be interesting though is also when it comes to vaulting these game items is if they bring them back, it'll be it would not be the effects won't be the same. Like let's say for example, you get a gun in Destiny and its effects are like more effective than the re-release.
Yeah, so are these items that they're taking off you going to be balanced when they come back?
Or
Who
they're gonna be
knows? Because balancing's tricky, but
yeah.
without constant QA and testing in the form of letting players use whatever they want, you're not going to find out what the meta is until you release the items again. But they're claiming that this is because there's not enough storage space.
Isn't that
So
what Pokemon said once upon a time?
that was more of a it's too much effort. Because with Pokemon, they were getting up to 1,000 characters and would need 1,000 unique animations to be able to keep everything going. But with this, it's more of a we can't sell you more microtransactions because your hard drive's full. So we're going to take things off you so we can sell you more microtransactions.
And let me guess, Destiny can't they do what I remember a couple of games they say like if you spend more you can get more slots and stuff.
Like backpack space.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't vault backpack space. That would be
Mm,
dumb.
mm,
They might vault a backpack, but they'd still let you keep the space.
yeah.
But, if I was to go and play Destiny now, I couldn't, well, in a few weeks or a month, whenever they actually vault this, I wouldn't be able to play the game as it's intended to be played. They say they're going to make a new introduction mission and everything, but they're cutting out most of the stuff they're cutting is early game stuff. So if you join now, you will miss out on most of the plot that's happened so far.
So basically they're restarting the universe again.
Kinda. They're ditching all of the plot stuff and they're going to retcon it basically to say that if you start now, you're not a brand new player in the world like you would be if you started with the original mission, but you do something instead that fits in. So you're a new recruited by the original characters or whatever.
Just curiously, vaulting in general and when it comes to gaming, do you reckon it's a good practice in general or it's just cop out?
I think it can be used well. I don't think it should be used to lock out content people have paid for with real world money. You should never take away something that people spent real world money on if you can help it. So some games shut down that people spend real world money on. Of course, they're not going to get that money back. But the in this case, you're basically saying that gun you bought can't have it. That skin can't have it. It's not you bought it and now it's off the store. No one else can buy it until next time it comes up. It's nobody can have it. We'll take the money, but you can't have the skin.
And what's going to be even more interesting is that's the other thing. What's going to be even more interesting is like let's say you buy a gun of Destiny for like $5, let's say, and they vault that thing. Imagine 2 or 3 years later they bring that gun back again, and it's twice the amount that you paid for.
Well, you'd get the gun back, theoretically. Theoretically, you'd get the gun back because you already paid for it. You would just basically have an early bird special. Now, if they made you pay again for the gun that you already bought, that is just absolutely wrong.
Yeah, and also not to mention like the effects are different as well. Like if imagine if they told you to pay that gun again.
Yeah,
Could you see this happening with other games companies though? Like this sort
yeah.
of practice?
Some companies already do have a vault or a rotating stock of items, but they don't take them away from you. That's
Yeah.
the crux of this issue. They're taking away content that you paid for. So there's a big list of stuff, but mostly early game content, which most players might be past, but now new players are never going not being able to experience that.
As a game developer, what would you do in that situation in terms of vaulting?
Well, it's a tough decision because the issue is that they're claiming that it's because the hard drives are full, and that does make sense. Games are hitting 200 gigabytes each these days, which is nuts, absolutely nuts. And like, there's that meme about the new, or well, maybe not the newest COD anymore, but the one that's like 230 gig. That's bigger than my OS drive. Um, but so it's hard to keep adding to a system and not come up against limits. But I think a better option here would be to um, declare the end of Destiny 2 and release a Destiny 3 because they've already done that once with Destiny 1.
Hmm.
They already decided this is all the content we're going to make for Destiny 1. Here's Destiny 2. And that didn't really, until the servers for Destiny 1 shut down, that didn't take anything away from you.
Or why not just make a Destiny classic like what happened with Warcraft?
Yes,
Although,
that's the other thing. If you release a Destiny 3, you can have a Destiny classic that lets people go back and explore this old content.
yeah. Although the downside with Warcraft Classic was the how the servers just got broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, the World of
It
Warcraft
looks
Classic.
like the Destiny 1 servers still haven't shut down.
Huh.
So all that Destiny 1 content still there. Your Destiny 2 content, not anymore.
It's also interesting how games company have so much reach now. I mean, back then, games companies, if you were to do that, you'd be like hitting FBI territory, like, what the heck are you doing, man? You're not allowed to go into gamers' files and take their
Maybe not
stuff.
FBI territory, but this comes under the licensing agreement you sign or you accept when you install a game store. They can't take your CDs off you, but they can take your Steam library off you.
Uh,
Your Steam library, your Epic library, your PlayStation, Xbox Arcade, whatever, they can take that off you.
so the moral of that story would be read the fine print.
Yeah, there is a shrinking contingent of players who refuse to use online services because they don't want to lose their content ever, and that's okay for them. That's their choice.
Couldn't they use Smurf accounts though, just to try and to bypass that situation?
No, because if the company decides to pull the game, you're still not going to be able to play it.
Hmm.
A Smurf account is more useful for if you got banned,
Ah, okay.
and that's a completely different story. Anyway, what did you play this week, DJ?
I played Super Circuit Breakers
Again?
again. Yeah, it's the top-down shooters. It's like I said, it's like playing Contra. Like the whole graphic style, the whole shooting down aliens. It's the same style, only except from the top down rather than from the side.
Fair enough. Anything to add?
Uh Nothing really to add, but as I said, the whole weapons and stuff. So nothing really special.
Okay. And I'm still playing Fall Guys because I can't stop.
The temptation has hit you, hasn't it?
Yes, it's just so easy to keep going. Like any other battle royale, you die, you get pissed off, and you call it a night. This one, it's just too quick and easy to keep going.
What allures you to playing that game? Just
It's
curiously.
fun.
Yeah, but okay, everyone says that it's fun, but what's the alluring thing for you?
It's fairly casual. It's not a there's not really any tryhards like you get with other multiplayer games.
I mean, Fall Guys, it's basically a battle royale game from the footage I've been
Yeah,
watching, and it's like, okay, what's the difference between that and like your traditional games like Fortnite and Apex Legends and whatnot,
there's a lot less time investment. There's a lot more action. There's no crawling through the bushes for 15 minutes.
and no camping.
No camping. You don't get sniped. Like, if you lose, it feels fair most of the time. Because if you get sniped from 3 kilometers away in PUBG,
Hmm.
it doesn't feel fair. You get wiped out, and there's not really anything you could have done to avoid it, apart from not be in that line of sight. But Fall Guys, you get knocked off, you can just press a couple of buttons and you're right back in, and um, straight back into the action.
Okay, you won any challenges yet?
I have not won a full show yet. I've gotten close, very close, but never quite made it.
What's the part that cheesed you off in the game?
Um, well, people are complaining that there's hackers. I haven't actually seen any yet. I think I've gotten very lucky.
I saw one. I was watching a live stream the other day where someone was playing the Fall Guys and he was flying on across the screen, like literally flying. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Can you actually fly in this game?
no, I'm told that happens, but I haven't actually run into it. At least not that I've ever noticed. There's a couple of game types where um, I wouldn't notice because of the camera angles, but I've never seen anyone just like shoot ahead of a race or anything. But yeah, still the biggest flaw is that the team games are designed so that you end up with the two winning teams ganging up on the losing team, since you only need to not come last.
Yeah.
And in some other modes, you could go AFK for the first 2 minutes of the match. It really only comes down to the last 5 seconds for a lot of them, especially tail tag. So I think game types like tail tag need to swap the have possession at the end of the timer for a count up. So when you have possession, it counts up points, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the timer wins.
I found this interesting website, Fall Guys hack cheats in 2020. Quick review of the speed hack and flying hack. Oh lord.
Okay then. Yeah, I've never seen one, so maybe I'm just lucky. So I love that they're advertising 2020 cheats for a game that's been out for a month. So what do you rate Super Circuit Breakers?
um Last time it was 3.5 if I recall. Yeah, 3.5 out of 5. So
Okay, I'm
yep.
giving Fall Guys 4 out of 5. The last point that would make it absolutely amazing is more game types. Kill the bloody perfect match one, because no one ever goes out on it. And make the possession game types a count up rather than a possession at end of timer. Or maybe make it more like musical chairs. You don't know when the timer is going to go off, but if you don't have possession at the timer, you're out. And then have people fight over dwindling resources. There's a few things I could think of.
Hmm. Just curiously
If you
for
want
the
another game designer, guys, hire me.
He's ready and willing. Just curiously, so in with the Fall Guys game, so you got like multiple opponents and stuff. Are they all AI or is it just
They're
all
human.
different players? Oh,
All
okay.
human. Yeah, and I've never spent more than a minute waiting on a match. In fact, they've sold 7 million copies on Steam alone. So there are some latency issues during peak hours as well, but yeah, the player count is still pretty damn high. So we'll be back in a moment with our show note. Damn it. So we'll be back in a moment with our shoutouts. There we go. We can put in a an ad break here,
Okay. Huh.
just as a an experiment, since you've just been throwing them in kind of randomly.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'd actually lead into it and see that there's something coming up next. Anyway, the fucking show notes moved. Where am I? Where am I?
Shout outs
I know.
under
I
the
know. I
pyramid.
found
Oh, good.
it. So, for our shout outs this week, on the 27th of August, the Scooby Doo co creator Joe Ruby passed away at 87. Joe Ruby and his partner Ken Spears created Scooby Doo along with Dynomutt and Jabberjaw. His grandson said he never stopped writing and creating even as he aged. Scooby Doo was first launched on CBS in 1969. It launched as a gentler series in response to complaints about violence in cartoons. At one point, the characters were members of a rock band before they settled on the Mystery Crew, Mystery Inc. Actually. On the 28th of August 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 from colon cancer. Chadwick played Jackie Robinson and James Brown, and was probably most famous for his role as Black Panther. And even though he was only in half a dozen movies, he most of his movies came out in the time that he was going through surgery and chemotherapy for his illness.
I will say that is one brave man.
Yeah, and playing a tough guy, an action hero, while going through chemo is pretty impressive. His last performance is in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which will finish shooting and will come out in the future.
Oh, but you know what's you know what's crazy about with Chadwick Boseman? Now people are on social media going, "So is there going to be a Black Panther 2?"
Probably not. If it is, it's going to be a bit of a spin-off about one of the other characters taking on the role. And actually, I noticed now I said half a dozen roles. That's I've just looked up the filmography. It was quite a few more. I was under the impression that he hadn't been in many since most of them came out while he was getting treatment.
Yeah, and, yeah, with the Black Panther, I don't think that like I would like to see someone take up the mantle, like you know how they did with Heath Ledger as the Joker. Like everyone was saying, like, oh, no one should take Heath Ledger's role as the Joker.
Yeah, I saw apparently in the comics, what's the girl's name? Shuri?
Sure, yeah, Shuri,
Yeah, she took the role of Black Panther in the comics, so
yeah,
maybe they'll use her as the fill-in for future Black Panther stories.
would be the option. Yeah, man, and what was it the other 2 days ago? Oh, no, actually not 2 days ago. Yesterday, Marvel came out with their video tribute of Chadwick Boseman. I will say this, it was very beautiful to see that tribute.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about
Yeah, I will say this: Wakanda forever, Wakanda forever.
it. Yes, and if you do feel like you have issues with your bowels, please get checked out because colon cancer is relatively treatable. On the 31st of July 2020, one of the Sega arcades in Akihabara closed down after 17 years. This was the Sega Akihabara Building 2 arcade. There are three others, but this one had a recognizable staircase and featured their favorite Sega characters staring up at the Mansebashi Bridge. I shouldn't try to pronounce Japanese when I'm tired. On to our remembrances. On the 31st of August, 17. I shouldn't try to do remembrances when I'm tired either. Now I'm yawning. On the 31st of August, 1795, Francois Andre Daniken Philidor, referred to as Andre Daniken Philidor, was a French composer and chess player. He was also a part of the early development of opera comique. Along with being the best chess player of his age, he wrote the book Analyze the Jeu des Échecs. How do you pronounce chess in French? Which is a
Echec?
standard chess menu for at least half a century. He has an opening move and a checkmate method named after him. Philidor also played chess against Benjamin Franklin. He died at the age of 68 in London. On the 31st of August, 1811, Louis Antoine de Bougainville, a French admiral and explorer, the contemporary of James Cook. Louis took part in the 7 Years' War in North America and the American Revolutionary War against Britain. Yeah, look at that. The French went and helped the Americans revolt against Britain, and then during the World Wars, they were like, "Oh, Britain, save us!" Not quite how it goes. My history lectures are very simplified. Bougainville completed a circumnavigation of the globe in a scientific expedition in 1763, settled on the Falkland Islands in the first settlement on the islands, and voyaged into the Pacific Ocean. Bougainville in Papua New Guinea and the bougainvillea flower are named after him. Bougainville was only the 14th navigator and first Frenchman to sail around the world. On the 31st of August 1869, Mary Ward passed away. Mary was the first person to die in an automobile incident. She was an Irish naturalist, astronomer, microscopist, author, and artist. While riding an experimental steam car built by her cousins, she fell under the wheels and was killed. It's a bit tragic, really, for being the first. Someone had to, but someone with such scientific knowledge being the first casualty of an automobile fatality.
Yeah.
But her best known descendants include Lalla Ward, who played Romana in Doctor Who. On to the birthdays. On the 31st of August 1663, Guillaume Amontons, a French scientific instrument inventor and physicist. He pioneered the study of friction. He improved the barometer, hygrometer, and thermometer, particularly for use at sea, demonstrated an optical telegraph, and proposed the use of a water clock for keeping time on a ship at sea, which shipboard timekeeping is fairly complicated, or at least at the time it was. You couldn't use a traditional grandfather-style clock because the swaying of the ship would disrupt the force of gravity pulling the pendulum down and throw out your timekeeping, which is an issue because navigation relies on accurate timekeeping. His estimates established that the pressure of a gas increases by roughly 1/3 between the temperature of cold and the temperatures of cold. What does that mean, DJ?
Hmm?
You said the pressure increases by 1/3 between the temperatures of cold and the boiling point of water. How cold is cold?
Ooh, not absolute zero.
No, the Wikipedia page just says cold in italics. What does this mean? Is this a mistranslation?
I would, that would be another rabbit hole. I mean, one heck of a rabbit hole. I will give you that.
Amonton's speculated that that incredibly low temperatures would cause a complete lack of pressure. He estimated that at negative 240 degrees Celsius. Absolute zero is actually negative 273.15 Celsius, or 0 Kelvin. He invented a hot air engine in 1869, more than a century before the better-known Stirling engine. On the 31st of August 1925, Moran Campbell, Edward James Moran Campbell. No, that name isn't just what I call the DJ when he screws up the show notes. Was a Canadian physician and academic. He founded the chair of the Department of Medicine at McMaster Faculty of Health Science. He also invented the Venturi mask. This mask is used as a replacement for the intermittent oxygen treatment, which he described as bringing a drowning man to the surface occasionally. The Venturi mask is an improved method of providing a oxygen flow, and if you take a look at the photo in the Wikipedia article, it shows up on all sorts of medical use these days. He lived in Hamilton, Ontario, where he fought for the protection of bike paths in the city. He was born in Yorkshire, and on the 31st of August 1953, Pavel Vinogradov, a cosmonaut and former commander of the ISS, he flew into space 3 times on Mir and the International Space Station and is in the top 10 for total time in space. He's done 7 spacewalks and is the oldest person to ever perform a spacewalk. Unfortunately, the event was cancelled, but during his first spacewalk, he was due to hit a golf ball into space as part of an agreement between the Russian Space Agency and a Canadian golf equipment company.
Didn't someone try to do a golf swing in the moon at one point?
Yeah, I don't remember. Was it Alan?
I think so. Wait, give me a second. I thought it was Aldrin.
No, it was Alan Shepard.
Ah.
Yeah, and he hit the ball. He snuck the balls and the club onto the moon. NASA said, "You can't take that," and he was like, "I'll take what?"
We're going to a tunnel. I can't hear you.
Yep. So he smuggled in the golf balls and a modified tool head to create so that he could use the shovel tool with a modified head from a golf club. It's a great photo, though.
Why does this remind me of? It reminds me of Red Dwarf when Rimmer and Lister played golf on the planetoid.
Yeah, that's probably where they got the inspiration from. Don't they knock the planet into the sun or something?
Nah, that was that was that was when Lister played pool. This one was basically
yes.
So Rimmer hits the ball and the ball goes around the planet and goes back, and Lister takes the ball and hides in his pocket while Rimmer's looking for the ball.
Oh yes. Red Dwarf's great.
Oh yeah.
On to the events of interest. On the 31st of August 1888, Mary Ann Nichols, the first of Jack Ripper's confirmed victims, was murdered. At 3:40 a.m., a man named Charles Allen Cross discovered what he thought was a tarpaulin but was actually the body of Mary. He informed the constable, saying, "She looks to me to be either dead or drunk, but for my part, I believe she's dead." I know medical science wasn't as great back then as it was now, but I feel like I'd do a pretty good job of telling whether someone was actually dead or not.
What are they gonna do next? Oh, let's poke it with a stick. Let's see. It's not like a couple of teenagers going like, "Hey, we found a dead body. Let's poke it with a stick."
And then it goes, "Oh, I know what you did last summer." On the 31st of August, 1895, German Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, what a great name, patented the navigable balloon. Von Zeppelin worked on various lighter-than-air travel, leading to this invention, which was basically the modern Zeppelin. He also described a airship consisting of flexible sections called the, I'm not going to say that in German, but the steerable airship train with several carrier structures arranged one behind another. And our last one for tonight, on the 31st of August 1897, Thomas Edison patents the kinetoscope, the first movie projector. There's some interesting drama about the inventors of movie cameras. Like, one of the French inventors, I don't remember his name, seems to have vanished from a train with no evidence of what happened to him. And there's conspiracy theories that Edison had him knocked off. So Edison's movie studio relied on sunlight, so he had to rotate the building to capture the best sunlight, and his first film showed 3 of his workers pretending to be blacksmiths. Here we go. Yes, French inventors Louis and Auguste Lumiere, who invented a movie camera and projector. Lumiere, I think, was the one who disappeared. One of them, with those two.
I've got here Louis Le Prince.
Le Prince? Okay, I could be completely wrong then.
Yeah. Le Prince was never able to perform a planned demonstration in the U.S., but because he mysteriously vanished, his last known to be boarding a train on 16th of September 1890. The reason for his disappearance is not known, and his family and supporters invented a series of conspiracy theories, including a murder set up by Edison, secret homosexuality, intentional disappearing in order to start a new life, and a murder by his brother over their mother's will.
Yes, it's
Man.
a great story. Unfortunately, real life is rarely that interesting, and he probably killed himself. But I do like the idea that Edison was going around knocking off rivals back then.
Well, he has a penchant of suing people as well.
Yeah. But that's all we have for tonight. Where can they find us, DJ?
They can find us on Twitter, Instagram. That's Not Canon, where we have an archive of our old episodes. They can also find us on Pod Hero.
Yes, for $5 a month, you can support us and other podcasts, with your subscription being split among the podcasts based on how much you listen to each one. And if you check out That's Not Canon, you can find the newest member of the That's Not Canon family, Space Junk, with Annie Handmer, which is a messy mix of things Annie finds interesting, mostly about space.
Will she ever find a penguin in space?
Don't tell her, that's our discovery.
They can. Oh, and also they can find. I think I might have said they can find us on Spotify and iTunes.
I think
as well.
you did. Okay. Anyway, that's all we have for this week. Keep yourself safe, stay hydrated, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.